very
Mel.
good afternoon to, I'm going to try and pronounce it correctly, Friederike Ablang.
Perfect. Hi, Mel.
It's so wonderful to see you finally. We've been planning this for ages. And finally, I have you on the show. And you probably want everybody to call you Rike.
Yes, please.
So I will call you Rike and you will call me Mel, and everything will be very formal, informal, and fun. So I'm going to introduce myself. I'm Mel Rosenberg, and I am the host of the Children's Literature Channel of the New Books Network. And that's why I'm here. I get to interview splendid creatives such as Rike, again, Friederike Ablang, and you're in Berlin.
Yes. Hi, Mel. Yes, I'm Friederike Ablang. You pronounced that perfectly. Thank you very much for having me. It's quite a pleasure.
It's quite a pleasure for me. And I will admit that for me, it's a triple pleasure because we've spoken and you're a wonderful human being. And because I do not interview enough European creatives, and I don't interview enough illustrators. And we're going to talk today about some of your books and some of your artwork. And we'll talk about how you reached your position of creating so many illustrations for so many children's books, and perhaps maybe what the differences are between Europe and North America, for example, in the children's publishing world. So first of all, let's show a couple of your most recent books. You have one in English, Alan and the Moon, that came out with Wonder House Books, based in India.
Yes. So, look, it even has gold on it.
It's a very valuable book.
Absolutely.
So a few words about this book, yourself as the illustrator and the author, and how it happened. It's out this year. And tell us about it, Rike.
Yes, well, this book actually has quite a funny story because we started trying to make it years ago. The author actually approached me through Instagram. And at the time, I had been drawing a lot of illustrations about the moon. I had a moon phase, if you will, practicing like a shadow.
A moon phase. Oh my goodness!
Yeah,
that's a real pun.
Well, I didn't howl at night, but so she wrote to me asking if I would be interested to illustrate her book because she had written a book about the moon and a little boy named Owen. And I was like, yeah, sure, of course. She had a publisher and everything. I got a very long contract that was very complicated for me to read because it was in English. I actually had to ask for help. And just when I had signed it, the publisher went out of business because the publisher herself, the lady who was the owner, went so ill that she couldn't continue working. So we were all really sad and disappointed and didn't know what to do. And we entered it into the Searchlight Award and actually got shortlisted, but didn't win. So sad again, and what are we going to do? So I said, why don't I pitch the book at a book fair? I go to Frankfurt every year and I go to Bologna every year. So I brought it with me because we had the sketches, we had the text, everything was there, easy to pitch. And a friend of mine introduced me to Wonder House Publisher, and they were interested. They told me, please have the author tell us all about it and the background, and we'll think about it. And a month later, we got the job. We got the contract, and everything went super smooth. My husband did the layout. The illustrations came naturally. We were well prepared. And here it is. I'm very happy about this.
That's a gorgeous story. So it happened in because I'm angry with you now because I go to Bologna Book Fair, and I'm not sure I knew you last year, but we have to meet in April.
We will. I'm there. Can't wait. You
made this deal in Bologna or in Frankfurt?
In Bologna.
In Bologna. It's a great place.
Yay, Bologna. Best book fair ever.
Yeah, but tell me something, because in Bologna usually, you have to have meetings, you have to meet people and set up meetings. So did you set meetings up with publishers, or you just walked in and say, "Oh, hi, I'm Rika, here's my book"?
Well, in this case, actually, a friend of mine who's already working with Wonder House just took me along and said, "Just go and pitch it." And she approached the lady that she was already working with and said, can we please, could you, spare 5 minutes for her? And I could tell it was not really a good time. The lady was extremely busy, and it's like, I'm sorry, I really don't want to interrupt your day. She's like, no, sit down, do it quickly, we can do this. She's very open-minded. And right away it clicked. I told her the story, she was interested, and bada boom, there it is. Yeah, I'm very grateful.
So I know that you didn't write the story. A few words about the author, and maybe read a little to us and show us some of your magnificent artwork.
So the name of the author is Roseanne Baxter Frank. I believe she lives in New Jersey. She's a very kind lady. I haven't actually met her. We've only been writing to each other. We never even Zoomed so far. We should.
She has to come to Bologna. Yeah, for sure.
Oh, that would be brilliant. I'd love to meet her. So it is about a little boy named Owen. And the story starts with a beautiful sentence. The whole book's very poetic. I love it. Long before stories and song, when the sea and sky were stitched together at the horizon, a boy lived among the towering alder trees. So this is the first double page. I don't know, can you see it? Yeah. At night, the sky was as dark as the ocean depths, both appearing as one until... Hello, my moon.
Wow. Wow.
Hello, my moon, Owen would say as she rose. Moon was an impish thing. She played hide and seek, darting in and out among the trees, and peekaboo, showing only a bit of her shining face, or sometimes more, but Moon always lit the night for Owen.
Wow. Beautiful.
And then one day,
show us some more. No, enough of the reading. Show us
yeah.
some more of your gorgeous artwork here.
So one day something worrisome happens, and Owen is not happy, and he goes to find help. This is very dark. I'm not sure you can see, but he finds Bear and asks him to help. And of course, Bear is willing. At this point, the book is turned upside down. Little playful change. Bear is willing to help and goes up on the tallest tree, tries to reach Moon to help, and becomes a constellation. And so it goes on. Owen keeps asking for help, and everyone's willing to help and becomes a constellation. And
wow.
can't tell you the end because you need to buy it to read that.
Don't dare tell
But
me the end.
essentially, it's about a lunar eclipse, which we just had here a week ago, which was great to see. And there's actually a little part at the end of the book that tells children about what a lunar eclipse is, what constellations are, and actually gives little ideas how to build your own constellation with rocks and
it's incredible. So Rika, I want to understand. You did these illustrations, what, under contract with the first publisher?
No, that never worked out. That publisher doesn't exist anymore. It is with Wonder House.
No, so when you pitched it without the illustrations? You pitched it to what?
No, we had sketches already.
Okay,
I did a few sketches.
Okay, so like it was on spec.
Yeah.
It was on spec. You had like one, let's say one spread, one colored spread and sketches. And that's marvelous.
Exactly.
So Wonder House, they paid you for the illustrations.
Yes.
Brilliant.
Well, the usual how it goes. You get a little advance, and then you get percentages of the sales. That's how it goes. Okay. I believe with North American books as well, right?
Yes, but I'm not in North America, and I'm not an illustrator. But yes, I think that's how it goes. But what I want to remark on is that we teach. Don't find an illustrator for your book. Find an agent, find a publisher, and very often people do things wrong, and it turns out right.
Yes, sometimes you just have to dare and follow the feeling of this is okay. I can do this. Let's just try. I mean,
You have to.
the worst thing that could have happened is that they said, no, we're not interested. And then I would have kept searching.
No, but we teach our authors, don't find an illustrator. And
Oh,
Roseanne, she went out and she found you. Um,
yeah.
especially in North America, you do not usually bring an illustrator with you to the agent or the publisher.
Hmm.
I mean, I did because my book was published in Israel, so it already had the gorgeous illustrations, and they bought it together. I think they bought it mostly because of the gorgeous illustrations, but it's
You're
unusual.
too modern.
And here also, you sold the book complete with story and illustration, and that's interesting and something we should think about. You have a gorgeous book just out in German, um, well, with earthworms of all things.
Oh, yeah.
Is this a German thing to write books about earthworms because
Oh, no.
they're relatively rare in North America? I've been trying to wrap my mind around an earthworm story for a long time. But if I
This,
get it, if I get it right, you're the illustrator.
thank you. I love drawing earthworms. That's actually how this book happened as well. Because after the moon phase, I had a chicken phase, and then I had a worm phase. And the author had seen my worms on Instagram as well. He's a German author, quite popular here. And we got in touch actually through a different project and got to talking. And then he asked me, so when are we doing a book together? And I said, right now, if you want. How about chickens? And he's like, nah, chickens, he's done. I'm like, how about earthworms? Yeah, I like your earthworms. And so we had this idea
Oh,
that
hold on a second. Who said let's do chickens? You or him?
I did. I said let's do chickens, but he had just done chickens. Apparently,
That
I'm not sure about that.
That's the opposite of North America.
Of the earthworm. Oh,
No,
okay.
in North America, usually the author says, "Let's do a book about chickens," and you told the author, "Let's do a book." So is everything backwards in Germany?
Maybe
Did
it's
you
just me.
propose? Yeah, did you propose to your husband? What's going on here?
Well, I had him make propose to me. Yeah, actually, I had to ask for it. That's funny that you're asking that. Yeah.
It just hit me as something. So you said chicken, and he said no, nine, and you said, well, how about earthworms? And he said, yeah. So did he write a story about earthworms, or he just happened to have an earthworm story to show you?
He's actually quite a miracle writer because we hatched this idea together that he should start with one earthworm and then build up. First it's just one earthworm, then it's two, then it's five, then it's 100, then it's millions. And after the idea was born, he came back to me 24 hours later and the thing was done, and it's in rhyme form. I was so surprised and amazed what he did there, but I think he got so inspired in that moment that it just sort of came out of him like an explosion. It was amazing. so so I did a little title illustration. He got in touch with the publisher. He has an agent, and there was him.
That's
Sometimes you need a little luck.
no, it's incredible, and it's actually very encouraging. So he is an author with an agent
Mhm.
who reached out to you as an illustrator without.
Yes.
This is not the way things happen in America. So I'm delighted to be interviewing you. So all the people in America, you should realize that the world is not exactly the same as you are. In Europe, strange things can happen. Earthworms can turn into marvelous children's books. Authors can ask illustrators and then contact the agent of the publisher. This is really, really different. So show us some of your gorgeous earthworms. It's almost a
So
contradiction in terms, but I'm sure your earthworms are gorgeous.
they are. Well, it starts off blue and then it becomes bright yellow, which I love. It was the publisher's
Oh,
idea.
show us the end paper again. I love it. I don't understand illustration, but the negative space here is fantastic.
Isn't it? Yeah,
Wow,
they did a
negative
great
space.
job layouting this.
Yeah.
So here we have our first group of earthworms. And then I should mention this author too. It's Kai Lüftner. He's an
Yeah.
amazing guy. And there's
Can
the
you?
first.
We never get people to read children's books in German. Can you read us a page or two?
Sure. All right.
And if you make a
Ein
mistake, I'm not going to correct you.
Okay, Deal. Ein einzelnes Regenwürmchen sitzt müde auf einem Türmchen aus Erde so spröde und trocken, es könnte noch ewig da hocken. Moment, das könnte es nicht, denn es macht heute noch eine Schicht. Vielleicht macht es sogar gleich zwei, denn ein Kumpel kommt gerade vorbei. And then we
Okay, show
have
us.
more,
Uh-huh.
and I'm going to show you when there's many.
Oh, wow. I love this.
This is what we call a Wimmelbild. It's where a lot of stuff happens. Many, 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 many things. Wimmeln is like in German. And I have never done a book like this before. It was quite exciting and quite, I had no idea how much work it would be in the, when I started this. And I was actually really ill at the time. I had the flu. So I would pop a fever pill. And when the fever went down, I would go to work and draw more earthworms
Wow.
because I had a deadline and it sort of kept my head occupied and away from feeling sick. So yeah, here it
So,
is. Lots and lots and lots of earthworms.
which publisher is this?
They're called Kalmemara. Can you see it?
We will go visit them in Bologna in April.
Sure.
I
I'll
will
introduce you.
congratulate them on choosing you as an illustrator.
Thank you. You're too kind. They're actually
And
great. They're a publishing house that watches up very much what paper they use, what glue they use. No animals will be killed in the process. They're vegan certified and really mind the
and,
environment. It's great.
and no earthworms will be used for fishing or other purposes.
Absolutely.
And so now, show us one more book, and then we'll talk about your own life and career.
Sure. I can show you another English book that also has a funny story.
You get to decide. It's your show.
This
Two
is
Goofy Dogs.
Two Goofy Dogs by Denver Morford. He also is an author who contacted me through Instagram. And I get a lot of people asking me, could you illustrate my book? I wrote this and that. But every time you talk about money, because you have to get paid for drawing, most of them disappear again. They don't anticipate that they need to pay someone to work for them, apparently. But Denver was like, of course I have to pay you. And he actually self-published this book. And it's the story of his own dog that he adopted. So he's saying adopt, don't shop, rescue dogs. And this whole book is about one dog getting a buddy and a dog getting rescued. It's also in rhyme form. And I loved working on this book because I actually got to draw Denver's family and Denver's dogs. And I met him after we'd done the book because I went to the United States on vacation. And he invited me to his home very graciously and very generously. We spent a night there. It was wonderful. Great family, great dog. It's wonderful to meet him. Here's where they actually meet for the first time.
Lovely.
Yeah. Yeah, and I applaud him for self-publishing because I think it's very difficult to actually get proper sales going. And he is full on in it. He's going to bookstores, doing readings and signings. It's really, really good, man.
I caution people that self-publishing is a very slippery slope. Very hard to get the books right and very hard to sell them. How many books have you done so far, Rike?
Children's books, approximately 25, 26, and school books, I can't count. It's the whole basement's full.
Okay, so tell me now something about your career. How did you get started? It's very difficult to break in. You and I have been to Bologna, and there's a wall of illustrations of young people who are talented but haven't broken in, haven't found publishers, haven't found deals, and you did, and you've illustrated so many gorgeous books. How did that happen?
Thank you. Well, I grew up in an illustrator's household. My mom and my stepdad were both illustrators when I was little. My dad is a journalist, so I always had that writing influence as well. And I, because when you're young and a teenager, I always said, not what my parents are doing. I want to do something completely different. I'm not doing what you're doing. I'm going to go work for Greenpeace and chain myself to oil tankers and help the world, save the world. But I always drew. I never stopped doing that, even though I said I wouldn't want to do it as a profession. I
Even
always
even
went to
even while you were chained
drawing.
to the oil tanker with
Of
your little
course.
baby toe.
Yes, I had a sketchbook, but no, that never actually worked out because for a couple of reasons I didn't do very well on my final exam in biology. So that didn't work out. And I was like, oh my God, what am I going to do? Shattered dreams.
Now that was a good thing because I became a professor of biology and I never did the exam. So I don't know what's better. And I always wanted to write children's books. So anyway, we're going to continue now. So you failed
Wow.
the exam in biology, and then you said, you know what? I'll do
I'm
what
going
I
to go
love.
be an au pair. I'm going to go be an au pair in England. Kill some time, find myself, and reroute. And in England, I met my friend Merle, who now is a very good illustrator herself. Maybe you could interview her at one point. And
Sure.
she said after the first year was over, being an au pair, hey, I'm going to apply for a foundation class in art. Why don't you join me? And I was allowed to move in with her au pair family. They had a big house, and I could work there, and for that get housing and food, and I could study. At the time, Britain had a lot of awards, and you could do it for free, basically. So I stayed another year, did the foundation class, and thought I was going to be a photographer because I loved doing it. I loved the darkroom. I loved going around shooting photos. But when I got back to Berlin and I did a whole year of being an assistant, I realized it's a really tough job and you need a lot of elbows and you need a lot of startup capital. And it's an even tighter market than the illustrator market. So I thought, okay, let's start with the basics and study communications design in a regular art school. And then you can be a designer, layout, or whatever, and we'll see what happens. And somehow I ended up being an illustrator. I always drew, and I realized during my studies that this is what I love doing. I wasn't very good for the longest time, but I sort of kept doing it. My mom always said, if you want to be an illustrator, you have to be obsessed and you have to draw all the time. And I took that to heart and I did it. I practiced and practiced and practiced, and I looked at other people's work and learned from that and asked for advice and asked for mentoring. And so I got my foot in the door with the school books, which is just as hard as kids' books, I think, but maybe slightly easier. I don't know. But I ended up there and I worked in that industry a lot for a long time, still do, and I love it. But I felt I need a wider range of projects because school book is very limited. You have to draw exactly what they tell you to draw most of the time, especially when it's math or science in any way. You really have to show what is going on. The kids need to understand what they have to do. So I went to Bologna for the very first time, and there was a publisher who, for some reason, there was no illustrator showing portfolio, even though they were open for it. So I sat myself down, had a wonderful conversation with the actual boss of this publisher, and I think 3 months later, I had my first job. So I actually have
You're
this book
allowed to
here
say you're
too.
allowed to say which publisher, you know.
It's Wow Books Publishing. They're in Hamburg, Germany, and they actually translated this book too. And you can buy it in English as well. It's a Norwegian author, Marianne Karin. She won a
Mm-hmm.
huge prize in Germany with this book. It's wonderful. I highly recommend it. And
Wow.
I've I think I've done 5 books with these people now. It's a very nice publisher. Get along very well. They're great people. Yeah. So
Fantastic.
now I'm very very happy and very lucky about how it worked out in the end. Yeah. Now I have both. I have school book and kids books, and it's a nice it's good to have both. It's nice to sometimes just work by script and do it correctly, and sometimes to be free is a very happy process as well. So the two together, I feel that's the best way for me.
Rika, when you get the manuscript, um, do you have to fall in love with it before you illustrate it?
Mm, I don't know. So far I always have, so I can't say what would happen if I didn't. I mean, of course, there are more inspiring texts, and then sometimes they're a little less because maybe they're for smaller kids, and I find them endearing, but maybe it's not really my cup of tea. But so far, I have never had a bad text, so I was always happy to illustrate them. I love doing it, and
Is there
yeah,
some German? I mean, so much of the history of children's literature are stories from Germany. Not always happiest of ending children's stories, but you have so many in the classic literature, so many titles and stories. Does this somehow infuse German children's literature? Is there some kind of difference between books for kids in Germany and books for kids elsewhere?
it could be that the majority of publishers these days are aiming more for happy, easy books, more colorful, just perky, happy little things. But every once in a while, there will be a really deep and possibly sad story. But I think they all end well. Like I illustrated a book about a kid that has a very, very sick dad. And it made me cry while I read it. I was so, so sad for that kid.
Wow.
But in the end, all is well. So I think they're off this bad ending thing now. Most of them are happy, at least as far as I know. But yeah, there are most books that I know are just perky.
What about books that are whimsical? Like Mo Willems or like I Want My Hat Back, John Klassen. What about whimsical books that don't
Oh, there are
necessarily
whimsical books.
tell?
Yeah. Now that you mention it, oh, there are quite a few actually. There's a one publisher, Klett Kinderbuch, that is quite specialized actually on them, and they're wonderful books, also with very whimsical illustrations. It's great stuff. I'll show you at some point. I don't have them here right now, but yeah, I'll tell you more
Books
about it.
that you've illustrated?
No, unfortunately not. Oh, that would be
Okay, but
lovely.
we have well, I'll write a whimsical story for you anytime. What animals are you doing these days? I mean, chickens you've done, earthworms you've done. What's the next animal for you? And I'll write something.
The next, ooh, how about a rat or a mole?
A
Or
rat.
actually, do you know naked moles? Do you know naked mole rats? The really naked ones that make huge tunnel empires and can't get cancer and have a matriarchy. That would be
The one
fantastic.
the ones that have to wear thick glasses?
I don't know. We should see maybe some of them.
Well, we have what to talk about. So and you told me a secret, which I'm going to tell everybody, which is I'll that happens in the show all the time. You should never tell me secrets. That although you haven't published any books that you've written, children's books, you're working on one or two.
Yes, yes, I would love to write. It's been a wish sitting deep down somewhere in me for a long, long time. But every time I read a good kids book, I think I can do it anyway. But now I have two stories. Well, you know
Of
how you can
course
be
you can.
intimidated. Well, you never know. And there are really, really good authors out there. Um, but I have written two, and one I'm actually going to discuss at the book fair with two publishers. And one is on a pile with a publisher to be examined properly and possibly published. Fingers crossed. That'd be so wonderful. There's a publisher. I don't know. Have you heard of Pixie Books?
Hmm. I
They're
think
they're
so.
they're really small books, and they only cost €1. So it's usually like when you want to get a kid a really cool gift, you give them €1 and say you can choose a Pixie book. And there are those big baskets in the bookstores here where they can dig around and find the one that they want and only have to pay €1 and they have a whole book. And I've written one of those, and I'm really hoping because I would love to have my own Pixie book at some point.
Of course, the royalties and the advances are a little lower than the normal ones.
Well, you mean the fee, what I get paid?
Yeah, and the royalties, you know.
Oh, with the Pixie books, it's actually you get paid, and then only
Yeah.
if another edition comes out, then you get paid again. There's no interest for those because they're
So
shiny.
it's
Yeah,
the Pixie books and Pixie royalties also.
but they're still great. I love the concept, and the
I
publisher is great. So
I think that would be fantastic. Um,
thank
and
you.
and and so what? Talk about your styles. What do you use? Your method? Do you draw every day? Do you need to have a muse? Do you need certain light? Do you have your
Hmm.
preferred crayons? Because I don't know anything about this, but I'm just gonna, say something for the illustrators.
Well, I think illustrators all have good and bad days. But if you're trained well and you've done this for a long time, then even if you have a slow and bad day, you will manage to get going. You will get the rock rolling somehow, either by going for a walk in the morning or a jog or just dance in your kitchen like crazy and just get loose or draw for social media. Do something that I draw. I sometimes just draw what I want to draw with a pencil or with ink or watercolors, whatever I feel like, and then I'm ready to go and actually work on what I have to work on, and that I do digitally because it's much easier for everybody with corrections, and also the whole sending mail is difficult. Stuff gets lost, and so I've specialized on digital artwork for publishers, and there I use Photoshop like most people. So the a lot of people use Procreate or Photoshop, some Affinity, some um, the Japanese one that I can't think of right now, Clip Studio Paint. And I've tried them all, but Photoshop is my thing. I love it. I have a big fat digital drawing tablet that is also at an angle so my neck stays straight, because when I still worked in watercolor, I had the worst neck problems for the longest time. So I'm sitting up right now, I'm drawing like this. And it's a lot of fun. There's no more eraser crumbs everywhere. It helps. And the publishers are usually grateful if you send them digital stuff. I know that there are people that are really, really good at imitating um, analog materials like watercolor or crayons and stuff. I don't think I'm one of those that do a great job at imitating, but I think I'm doing okay in the material that I use. But I do admire someone who works in gouache or watercolor well, because it is such a fickle material. You have to be so precise and you have to exactly know what you're doing. I just saw originals yesterday by a colleague who I admire, and I was just gobsmacked how beautiful they were. And you have an original piece of art that you can hang on the wall. It's not a print. And of course, if I had more time and if I had the time to really work my way into this again, I would love to do it. But for the time being, I'm very happy working digitally.
So
So yeah, that's
watercolors for fun,
yeah,
and digital for
the
commerce.
profession. Yeah, exactly. It does
Uh,
save time.
this is segues to the next question, which is, to what extent are illustrators threatened now by AI?
It's an excellent question. I just listened to a podcast, a very good German podcast by Franziska Walter, who makes excellent content for anybody in the field. And she was just talking to Tim Weifenbach about AI, and he says it is not a tool, it is a service, and we should not confuse those two. It is a black box, something that you cannot control with what you do. You can only try and retry, and it will not, nothing will come out at the end that you specifically wanted. You just have, it's so much chance. Also, of course, you have the whole problem of using up way too much energy. And uh, I'm not a fan. Let's just sum it up. I'm not a fan. And I'm truly hoping that it's not going to threaten us too much, but I think it's in the process of doing that. From what I hear, people are worried and people are not getting as many jobs. I personally cannot say anything about it yet. I'm only hearing things. So I'm still at the point of forming opinions about how much threat there is. It does worry me, though, from what I hear. I hope
Um,
publishers will not jump on that horse.
I'm with you, dear. And now, I guess my last question is, what advice do you have for the up and coming illustrators? What is the, because you're one, I don't know if you're one in a million, but you're certainly one in several thousand of talented illustrators that found your way into this wonderful genre, a wonderful, I, I call it a calling. For me, picture books are like a religion. And you found your way. You're a rabbi in the synagogue of picture books. Um, what's or a minister, if you like. What is your best advice to young illustrators coming up the ranks?
I think I would quote my mom saying, if you want to be an illustrator, you have to draw all the time. You have to become very good, and then don't let them scare you. Keep coming back, keep showing your work, be present, keep coming up with your own stories if you have to. If they don't give you projects, create them for yourself and keep showing them. Keep going to the book fairs, keep sending emails, keep sending postcards, remind them that you're there, show them how good you are. And if you're good because you draw all the time, they will see you.
Okay, so I hope that lots of people are going to see this wonderful interview and listen to the wonderful podcast. And please keep an eye out for Rika's books. Her full name is Friederike Ablang, and she's in Europe, India, America, and soon to conquer the rest of the world. And Enrique, so what I want you to do is the last advice you gave for up and coming illustrators. I want you to look at that yourself as an up and coming author,
Okay, thank you. I will do
because
that.
that would be the same advice. I mean, I'll just say that we are so intimidated, you know, oh, I will never be able to do this, and I will never. But if you persevere, it can happen, and it can happen to anybody. It can happen to anywhere. It can happen at any age, and you just have to really stick with it.
Yes.
And we're going to chase everybody away and have our own little talk. And I'm very grateful to Tom Tucker, who introduced
Me too.
us.
Yeah.
And
Hi, Tom.
hi, Tom. And V Gates, Tom. And Tom, I once gave a talk about barking, and he played the role of the dog in my talk. And he did such a good job that we remain friends since, and we bark at each other, but in a good way. Um, and incredibly, he introduced me to you. So this has been wonderful. I'm going to restate that I am Mel Rosenberg, the host of the Children's Literature Channel of the New Books Network, and I've been here with the incredible Friederike Ablang, or Rika, celebrating a couple of her brand new books, including the I have here Owen and the Moon. Now's a good time to show everybody with the gold
Okay.
embossed cover. Yay! Published
Yay.
by Wonderhouse this year, and your Earthworm, great Earthworm book, and which is called Das krasseste Tier der Erde.
Yes.
Now you can
Very
pronounce it
good.
correctly. Oh, really?
Yeah,
Must be,
very good. Das
must
krasseste to the Erde.
it must be the Yiddish.
Perfect.
Anyway, Rika, we're going to say goodbye to everybody else.
Thanks
Have a
so
wonderful
much
day,
for
and you and I
listening.
are going to talk. Thanks so much. It was great. It was great interviewing you. And who knows? The blind. What was it? I have it here somewhere. The
Blind, naked mole rat.
naked mole rat moles with a mole on his nose. That may be our breakthrough story together.
Great. Can't wait. Bye, everyone.
Bye. See you in a minute. See
See you in
everybody
a
else
minute.
next week.